creep. My BA would drip down to my feet. Giving out lessons like how take a seat. Get your turn and listen to the beat. But I'm so heavy the summer the heat, yeah. Struggle with writing, but now I'm enlightened. I'm back to the past and my shit is so bright and like rings on my fingers and jewels on my wrist. Lucky the chance of the blink, take a kiss. Sleeping in flowers, this shit is pure bliss. Roses and roses and naturally around me got fins and them dying circling my head while it spins, yeah, yeah. Keep it a stack. Marbles and huns like they raid in Iraq. Got some on like smoking a pack. Box up a lunch and we ate like a snack. My dogs in heaven like literally rest in peace, mama. I know you look over me, carried across on my neck. This is jewelry. Hearing the sound in the bag is a symphony. Really, I did it myself. I ain't got nothing to prove, so really got nothing to lose. Keeping my dogs right with me. If they got some problems, they hit me. They hit me. They hit me. Yeah, yeah. Whoa.
Welcome everybody to the lower bracket round one of Ember Magma League playoffs. Here is I Banana Bread XD with my co-caster Cherry J, and we got a nice little matchup here. The first match of the lower bracket between Coopa Troopers Black and Knights of the Second Dinner, the sixth and the seventh seed respectively, in the group stage, playing up against each other. And it is going to be a win or go home game, best of three here between these two teams.
As we enter the playoffs, a very important game, and make it or break it for these two teams. And obviously, having that sixth seed versus the seventh seed, this is a very important matchup. It's as close as it can get. And realistically, this should be a good, entertaining matchup. Maybe we'll see those three maps come through, or three games come through, sorry, as hopefully we will be getting into that draft relatively shortly. I'm kind of wondering what these two teams are going to opt in for. I think I've seen the nice squad coming through before in this league, and I know that they had a little bit of priority over towards their jungle picks, right? They weren't too uncomfortable sending out their top lane early on within the draft, letting that being kind of spoiled for the other team to kind of note early within the matchup. So I'm not totally sure how this draft is going to go, but I really do look towards, that current jungle meta as like you're going to look towards that Xin Zhao, that Jarvan 4 is the main stakes of the current draft meta. And ideally, we'll see kind of that front to black lineup. I'm not totally sure on, the skill level, but being able to coordinate something like a dive composition and make that fulfill its purpose, it's going to be difficult. So, I mean, whether or not these two teams are going to be up for the challenge, we'll have to wait and see. Whether they are just going to go for a front to back, which definitely does work across all elos, that's most likely going to be the option that I'd kind of expect. Something like a Scion, something like a Orin. Those are going to be really nice picks. But I do see the current bans coming forth. We're getting that Victor and Vel'Koz both getting banned out. So really targeting these mid laners that are going to be exceptionally good at spreading AP damage across the battlefield and then targeting the Graves as well. On the other side, you got the Fizz, you got the Mel. Same situation of wanting to pinch out that AP mid laner pool, as well as the Urgot. So maybe targeting somebody specific on the Knights of the Second Dinner roster.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of like very unique pocket picks here. A lot of focus towards that mid lane. So it looks to me that the premium matchup of this game will be between Dr. Pinky MD and Jakester. Currently, forgot who it was. Yeah, Koopa Troopas Black will have an ADC sub. It's going to be Courage the Cowardly Dog instead of Husky Templar. So we're gonna see how kind of he meshes into this team here. But first pick Nocturne is very interesting in here. You don't really see that too often, but it's pretty strong overall there, especially if you get the Oriana combination. But Knights of the Second, they're gonna deny that combo. Instead, they're gonna bring combo of their own with the Oriana Jarvan with the Ari counter pick by Coopa. So already off rip, both these teams have game plans going into this series, and they're just kind of knocking out all these really strong power picks out the way now.
I really like the Oriana Nocturne combo pick, so I do have to give props to Knights of the Second Dinner for picking that out, not allowing their opponents to get their hands on it. The Nautilus will also get locked in to support on the support role, as well as now Knights of the Second Dinner can be able to pick up their own, likely going to just match it with its own firepower, send out a support of their own. Never mind, it will be the Ezreal to get locked in. An interesting pick. You got a lot of range, you got a lot of versatility, especially when it comes to your E being able to kind of dive out of engagement. So realistically, that Nocturne is going to have a hard time locking onto you. If even after a paranoia, you're able to just kind of cosmic shift away from the engagement. It could look nicely. We'll have to wait and see what the bans do end up turning into as the Kaisa does get banned out now, starting to look towards that priority in the bot lane. And the Braum getting targeted, seeming to have a bit of an issue with that Ezreal getting that support to come online.
Personally, I would rather just counter the Nautilus there with the Braum. Braum is such a hard counter to Nocturne Ari Nautilus. I would like to seen that. But Knights, I mean, with the Ezreal pick, again, like you said, there's a lot of flexibility, there's a lot of power in that. You have a lot of ability to kind of get out of dodge real quick against that triple dive composition. So I kind of maybe expect to see some sort of enchanter pick here. Melio's not too bad. But I think honestly, I think something like Janna would be really nice here. Knights and Koopa kind of jumping back and forth between bans here. As Koopa, they ban out Braum Poppy, and Knights, they ban out Vlad Kaisa. So they're kind of just banning out all those kind of like dive tools here. It looks like Giraffe is a bit of he's a mage player predominantly, so does play that Vladimir top pretty handedly. So we're gonna have to kind of see what they pick on this fourth. I expect this to be a support pick, but I've already been pretty surprised so far in this draft. I mean, right now, like the great thing is about like playing, casting like high level games is that you always get like very staple picks, and then after that, it's just hands diff. And it's going to be a Thresh picked here into an Nautilus. That is a very old school counter.
Yeah, and the response does become the Tristana, who's looking to get those combos on with the Nautilus, really adopting a heavy offensive composition over on the Koopa Troopa Black roster, saying we want to get in fast as you have that blast jump as well as your hook from the Nautilus, the Ari with the Spirit Rush, and the Nocturne with the Paranoia. Lots of movement, and on the other side, a lot of defensive capabilities as well, right? You have something like that Thresh who's going to be able to pull you out with the Lantern, as well as that the Ezreal who's got the cosmic shift of their own. And the Jarvan Force, similar situation. You've got that ability to just flag and drag out of an engagement, or maybe try and re-engage. And then the lock in from the Ornn, who's going to be that top laner, securing a really well-rounded composition. I like this a lot from Koopa Troopa Black on the other side. Knights of the Second Dinner. I like it. I just don't like it as much. I think it's a strong 7 out of 10 comp. Koopa Troopa Black running a 9 in my opinion, but the Knights of the Second Dinner are going to lock in that Mundo to end off the draft, taking a very hefty defensive approach to that top lane, and everywhere else it is a go button. And let's see who's going to be able to explode first.
I mean, I Knights, I mean, they have a stable composition, like a good denial with the Oriana. Um, but like the rest of it is kind of like it's kind of weird. So like they kind of have to quell this early game. If they can kind of scale up a little bit, they'll do pretty good because Koopa have a really strong snowballing composition. So they really need to quell that early game and kind of thug it out for about like 20 minutes. So they're pretty much gonna have to like give up most of their objectives until they get into that mid game. But otherwise, I mean, I say you're pretty on dime. I'd probably give Koopa Troopa their comp is a little more what's the word? Dependent on the execution. to kind of blow up this Ezreal, because they can't kill Ezreal. Like this Mundo and Jarvan and Orianna, they're kind of just going to kite around the fights very handedly with Thresh also for Peel. And I suspect he'll take Glacial Augment. It's going to be really nice. But looking at these two teams, I mean, you see very contrasting play styles here between both of them. So Knight's kind of drafting a more reactionary composition. Coopa Troopa, they kind of knew exactly what they want to do, and they're just running straight into it. So I kind of give a slight edge to Koopa, because I think this comp can very well facilitate that early game.
It's a very likely opinion, but I mean that's what I'm kind of looking for, right? I think Coopa Troop has just got that ideal position, but we'll be back for this game right in a little bit, so we'll see y'all right on the other side. Take a little break and go get some water, go get some juice, anything like that. Be back in a bit.
summoner spell rune wise. Looks like Mundo did go for that ghost, so could look to be a little vulnerable later for ganks, but I don't really expect too much. Bot lane, super heavy aggression there as exhaust immediately onto the Tristana, gonna get hit with the hook. As Tiny Shoes is gonna back on off there. Bandit overall winning slightly more in the trade there. I don't know if it looks like, yeah, both supports ran biscuits, so they'll be able to sustain a bit on, but it is one summoner spell traded for none.
Alrighty, well, there's going to be a bit of damage down in the mid side as the wave gets pushed in. You're going to see Jakester able to really start to push the issue, and now we're going back over down towards bot, looking to get a little bit of aggression still as the opposite side is going to be pushing up. The Knights having a bit of a difficult time trying to, sustain in bot side as the pressure being applied by Courage is just a little bit too much to deal with at the current moment.
I mean, surprisingly, with even with the pressure, Ezreal is slightly up CS. So it's honestly like in a scaling matchup, going completely even is really such a win. Couch Potato gonna get spotted in the bot lane there. Death sentence right on top of the Nautilus, gonna get knocked up by the flag and drag. Gonna get hit with the bomb right on top, ignite on the thresh. And that's going to be first kill going on to the onto the Nautilus there. Emil trying to get on out of dodge, but he will get knocked down by the Ari and Tristana roaming down. But it looks like Ezreal, nice little sidestep there. Mystic shot, first one not gonna land there. Gonna stack up with the lethal tempo. Does not have flash, only barrier. So let's see if he hits the Mystic shot. It will lead it into a kill, but gonna go forward there with the E, and that's gonna be 2 kills going over to the Ezreal. So this is a great time. He does have the blue buff, but flash forward with Couch Potato gonna get the auto down, and it's gonna be 3-2 already in the first 4 minutes in favor of Coopa Troopas Black.
As so far, they push an issue down towards the bot side, are able to pick up a couple of kills with the Knights secure that double. And as this Ezreal is going to be the main proprietor of these eliminations, it's not the end of the world. Over in the mid lane, though, having a bit of extra gold, able to find that lost chapter, looking to possibly go for that Hextech gun. And let's see if they are ending this plate. Yeah, they're looking nice. So far, you do see the Berserker Greaves spot up for the Tristana, who's going to look for a little bit of movement additions into this game. And on the other side, there's not a whole ton of like actual leads gathered. Obviously, there's going to be that extra buy onto the tier of the goddess, giving them a bit of extra mana. A very common buy for somebody on this Ezreal as you're looking for that extra mana, which is going to be coming out for your W. So pretty big lead, and let's just see what does end up coming.
I mean, Bandit getting all those kills is absolutely great. I mean, kind of helps nullify that early game lead or that early game pressure that Koopas was pushing out. So overall, I mean, it's a great Knights of the Second Dinner. I mean, I think this is a great spot for them to be. I mean, their big carry in Bandit is pretty fed, being that it is an Orianna and Jarvan that is your secondary DPS. So this Bandit really needs to kind of bring it home here for his team if they want to pick up a win and move forward further into this lower bracket, start their little miracle run. But I mean, gold lead is pretty even. Bot lane, that's gonna be a little more aggression onto Tiny Shoes. Gonna get to the flay back, but Nocturne is here for the party, but missed. Man, that ability just completely eludes me. Arcane shift away. Tiny Shoes will get taken down. Drake claimed by the side of Knights of the Round Dinner, but Couch Potato will pick up his second kill of the game here.
Yeah, able to really start to maintain this lead as that's another kill converted as the Thresh drops down to the grave. There's the back closed offline, and sending that in forces this Nautilus to stay in wave for at least a little bit longer, giving them little time to return to buy up more items, get a little bit more impact on the field.
Absolutely. I'm kind of surprised he did. Thresh went for the Swifties. I know movement speed is really strong, but there's not a lot of slows on the side of Koopa. So I mean, first boots is always a great option, but it doesn't look like he's really looking to roam too much, kind of just staying in lane a bit. But otherwise, I mean, it's a slight gold lead for Koopa Troopas. They lose the first Drake, but they do accrue themselves a bit of money here. This Nocturne is going to get accelerated up a little bit here. Just hit level 6, so he's in that top side. Could look to pressure up onto this Mundo that just got his passive popped. A little spectator bug there, but I mean, Mundo is kind of just on a bit of an island in the top lane. Nocturne, we're gonna curious to see where he's gonna pop that first ultimate. I really just expect it to be bot once again here. I mean, they really want to accelerate this Tristana mid lane. Nice little trade there, but Jakester just clearing up that wave. But otherwise, I mean, it's a pretty I mean, outside of Nocturne being a little fed, it's a nice little lead here. But bot lane, that's going to be a nice true shot barrage onto the Nautilus here. He's going to take the Lancer to get on forward. Arcane shift forward. All the missing shots are coming through. Lethal Temple stacked up. Bandit going to claim his third kill of the game there. And it is a great time if you are a Bandit fan here. As the now goal lead is still going to be still the same here, but not the end of the world. Next neutral objective up will be the grubby spawning in about 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's a good start. And as these objectives are coming online, the Knights are going to be the first ones to pounce.
Or
As the Void Grubs
the grubs,
do come
they just
online.
spawn. I don't know why. Like that little objective timer in the top left, it's always a little off whenever you decide to spectate, you know. But it's not too bad. But Orn being a little bit of a a menace there, denying the cannon minion from the Mundo. But Thresh going to roam up to these grubs. They really want to claim these grubs here. It is going to be a 4v4 without the ADCs. So Fake and Tech does still have that maximum dosage, so could heal on up there. But ping's coming through bot lane. It's going to be a bit of a fist fight as the bomb does get popped on the Ezreal's head there. But he is winning out these trades really well, so really don't want to look for that. But um, Knights of the Round Dinner will claim all 3 grubs without any real contest there. True Shot Barrage bot lane to cancel the Tristana reset. And whew, she is so low. Holy cow. Like less than 100 HP. So she's going to have to run on back there. And that pressure we were talking about here, as the first Paranoia going to be used in the bot lane, Mystic Arcane shift away. Nice little dodge there from the dredge line. And Tiny Shoes is there to save his ADC's life. So now it's a bit of a slower pace here for Koopa Troopas as they can't really push this lead as much as they would like to in this early game.
Axe comes out, won't be able to make the connection, and still, you just kind of look towards this game, right? Still, that Drake is going to be coming online relatively shortly, and that's going to be something you'd imagine that both teams are going to be looking to prioritize, especially if I'm on this blue side. I have my Nocturne 2-0 and 2, so Couch Potato could be a real nuisance if they try and attack that, especially when you consider the fact that they already do have first item up. It's a really nice team fighting ability as well. On the other side, you got the Sundered Sky, which is good for the sustain. But in the meantime, we're going to get a bit of an engagement on all sides.
Yeah, lots of aggressive fighting here. I mean, Koopa Troopa, like they know what they have to do, but they just can't really get it, because Knights of the Round Second Dinner, I mean, they have a really good composition that can kind of just nullify that aggression. Their Vacant Tech getting real low here as the Called Force God going to be used top lane there. Maximum dosage used to kind of heal on up there, but might force the Ornn flash away here. Giraffe, he's going to try to go back in there looking for the rest of that fight, but Ghost is not popped. No summoners used from either side, just ultimates used. So both top laners are just going to pop a reset here, and they will be very content with that. As second Drake of the game going to get started up, it is a Chemtech, so nothing too crazy. Death Sentence is going to go wide. They will spot this out now. So Nautilus gonna get chunked like crazy. He's gonna dredge line right into the wall. They're taking a lot of chunk. Charm over the wall onto Jakester here. Spirit Rush used to get on out there. Teleport down by the Mundo to help his team out. Mystic shots are raining. Dredge line on top of the Thresh here. Flash out by the Jarvan. Got the Tristana in the Cataclysm. Flash forward. Mystic shot gonna go wide. but the full lethal tempo stacks are coming through here. It's going to be one kill going over to Knights of the second dinner, plus the second Drake. Emil looking for a dive. Paranoia using the bot lane. Lantern is down, but a nice little ward, but it's not going to be enough. The bomb is about to pop. Flash by Couch Potato over the Flay, and he will pick up that one. Death Sentence, it will be spell shielded, and a nice little shockwave over the wall. Bandit, he is going absolutely bananas. Couch Potato will get taken down, and it's a 5-1-1 Ezreal here, 100% KP at 12 minutes.
Yeah, looking really good. As I mean, you got that extra gold lead. You took the Chemtech, not Drake, and as of now, we'll just have to kind of wait and get our hands on what's gonna keep up this gamer because I got that 1K gold lead, always still a bit lower than that perhaps, but over towards the top side, the extra gold this orange is gonna be able to collect should be able to equalize relatively soon.
Yeah, he's gonna get a lot of tower money, so that's gonna be really nice. Mundo finally coming back into the top lane, doing that, triple giants belt into Warmog's tech. So you just instantly get the Warmogs passive. So you pretty much just sustain in lane forever. So you just gotta go for silly traits just like that. But Knights of the second dinner, they're doing a great job playing around this Ezreal here. This Tristana, I mean, she's 202, but she only has 82 CS, and she's down 2K gold to the Ezreal. Already finished, completed Triforce here. Gonna get that Muramana here soon enough. And he's, oh man, look at that poke. It's just goes so crazy here. Paranoia is up in about, if I had to guess, like about 30-ish seconds, 40 seconds. So looking to path bot lane to make a play once again here. But Tiny Shoes is doing a great job with that Guardian peeling for his ADC.
Oh, that's a nice
Oh,
WM.
top lane.
And the
Maximum dosage used. Call the Forge God getting called down, but that healing is a lot. He's not autoing, so he's not getting that grievous. Now he finally does. Bell's Breath not going to land, and Vacantech going to pick up that solo bolo in the top lane. Bot lane, your selling is selling the game as he gets hit with the depth charge, but it was all just a bait. The Ignite coming down, shutdown going over to Couch Potato, double kill going now, and that's a great paranoia as your selling completely baited him in.
Yeah, there's now a vacant tech in the top side. Gonna be able to break up this turret to try and get some exchange on the gold that has just been lost. As the double kill comes out, looking really, really nice. The gold lead now about to minimize to as close as you can get it. Both teams at 24.9. And the vacant tech might be able to get a little bit of extra opportunity. As with 3 giant belts, they're likely going to be in a position to really push this issue against this Ornn, who's going to have to deal with the amount of HP gap. But when you're playing such a low DPS character, you really don't expect it to be able to thrive too heavily. But as the Ornn does come back into wave, they're going to have to be able to clear this out and then also start to push against the minions that are now coming in.
Ooh, that's gonna be Nautilus gonna get CC'd up. Dredgeling gonna go wide, so your selling will be left for dead here. Dr. Pinky MD trying to save his life, but he will have to just use the Spirit Rush to get on out there. Jake's gonna claim that one. Bot lane, it's a solo kill here for Bandit as he finally gets his call back onto that Tristana, as the gold lead is going to kind of just go back to being in favor of Knight of the Second Dinner. It's going to be a Mountain Soul, so Mountain Drake going to be spawning in about a minute and 10 seconds. Harold's going to spawn in about 5. Couch Potato, they know he's top lane now, but I really don't think you can punish this Mundo even if he doesn't have Flash or Ult already complete the Warmogs, because I think he does have the Warmogs passive, so he's pretty much just going to sustain this lane forever. They're kind of posturing around that Herald.
Still though, as we are getting right back on into the action over towards the bot lane, it is starting to demise, and the Herald is going to be up. We might be seeing both teams looking for that, but I will say that out of the two of them, I'm really looking at the Knights as the main proprietors towards these jungle camps. So really, I'm going to be expecting them to attack that Herald on the other side. Maybe not as much, and I especially kind of note that as with this tower down, that's going to give them a bit of opportunity to kind of play an attacking route as well, as they're going to be able to get rid of the spell shield from the Mundo. And with the Nocturne coming up, they might just be able to 2v1.
Couch Potato, he does not have the Paranoia. He already used it. So that's 2 big team fight ultimates used for this next objective. Bot lane, we got a slight glimpse of there being a possible play on your selling, but they know Nocturne stop. They're going to invade these bot camps, and they're looking to just get soul point here without Paranoia or the Call the Forge God, as another death sentence onto the Nautilus here. Charm over the wall. So Bandit going to get hit with all the CC, but I don't think there's a lot of damage coming through. And Bandit is just able to get on out there with the lantern as mid lane or bot lane gets another tier one. So no more outer towers here for the side of Koopa Troopers Black. And it's looking to be a little bit of a slow burn here as once again, Couch Potato just going to run on top here. Spell Shield is down, but Vacant Tech does have that maximum dosage. He should just be able to just walk on out here. He low-key might just get a kill in return as he gets knocked up. Shockwave only going to go onto Dr. PKMD, but that's a lot of damage going down. True Shot Barrage barely missing. Flash forward with the command attack, and it's not going to quite land. Your selling is now going to get taken out here. All the slows coming through. Death Sentence is going to keep its namesake and will bring your selling to 0-5-5. And Knights of the Second Dinner are absolutely just running away with this game.
And I don't love the play from Vacant Tech to go down to one shot to kill. He's not that low, but very, very low in exchange, just being able to cancel it back. Maybe that was the right
Oh,
idea,
bot
but
lane
overall,
as a oh man, that's I don't even know if there's anything to say about that. This is just really rough.
and so as the bot lane does get broken up, it is going to be a very, very good start, right? They're up 3 Drakes and they're looking really, really nice. But as of now, there's not too much of an advantage that you're going to have to pressure. Vacant Tech just taking a lot of damage due to the Ari, who's able to pressure so heavily. However, the turret is going to fall in the end. The charm connects, and so far they just deal a bit of damage. But overall, this current game state really favoring this red side. The Knights having a phenomenal hold over this game, with all objectives going their way except for the current Herald that is up. However, with the offensive structure being built around it, with a mill going near, and as well as that having your mid and support as well in the action, it can really cause a bit of difficulties.
Yeah, I mean, Knights they tried to or Koopa Troopas, I mean, they tried to make some plays happen early game, but once Ezreal got that double kill early, got the Sheen tier, it's kind of like that dream recall. And as Bandit, he's just going to miss Arcane Shift right over the wall. That's going to be a nice little death sentence onto the wave. They're paranoid, just going to go deeper as Call the Force God knocking up 3 members as Bell's Breath is not going to land, and Death Sentence will once again hit onto the Ornn, saving his mid laner's life. Bandit picking up another kill, and the Herald, and it's just Knights of the Second Dinner really just running this game one.
So far, Knights of the Second Dinner playing really, really proficiently. 4 bounties across the board. Arcane shifting down into the jungle. A couple players starting to navigate on to play defensively over on this blue side. Really thinking, yeah, this is not going to be an easy game. It's now Vacant Tech maneuvering from that top side over to bot lane. Going to be able to get the heal off of the axe, and that's going to be really annoying to deal with if I'm this Tristana, and as well as that getting the healing off from the Nautilus, connecting that axe to it. It's gonna be rough as there's Jakester
Oh,
maneuvering their way
drag
in, and the ulti as
Shockwave.
well converts.
Oh, yeah, it's a little rough there. Depth charge onto the Orianna. Spirit rush into the backside. Going to land that charm. And that's going to be Jakester getting CC'd up there. He will get taken out. But no! The Lantern will bring him out once again there. Tiny Shoes always in the right spot. Almost kills Courage the Cowardly Dog with the auto attack. And Vacant Tech will finally get taken down with the Orb of Deception. And finally, a kill going on to Vacant Tech here as they finally shut down that split push threat. But the Herald going to get spawned up in the mid lane there, and it's gonna should be able to knock down this mid lane tier 2. And Knights really just running around the map there from a desperate play by Koopa Troopas.
There's the tower down, and they're gonna convert as a couple
Ooh,
players sitting around the
Paranoia
mid lane.
onto the Thresh. So he's gonna have to flash on out there, popping the box. Death Sentence is gonna go wide. Let's see, Charm's gonna land onto the Thresh somehow. The Dredge line not gonna land either. So it's gonna be skill shot to skill shot. That's gonna be a 2-man cataclysm. Ornn teleporting into the backside to get the flank off, knock up onto the Ezreal here. Bandit gonna have to run away. That's gonna be Tristana jumping on in, trying to get into range, but flash away Bandit will have to do as a soul will be spawning for them in about 50 seconds. So lots of big cooldowns used, both flashes from Knight's bot lane. So they're gonna have to be real careful in this next fight.
At 9-13, you can't be expecting a whole lot of a comeback if you are this red side of the Knights, as you are very close to this next Drake spawning, and one would have to imagine that they're going to be looking to prioritize that no matter what. So their jungler going to be coming to a back as they're going to look to get that next item online, perhaps. still at 3 items overall, a little bit more than what the Nocturne is currently packing, and overall, that lead should be able to allow them to, continue thriving in this game.
Yeah, I mean the Ezreal, the Nocturne isn't really building for like that complete one shot, going more that bruisery build to kind of have that survivability. As Mundo gonna have a little bit of happy feet there, dodging out a lot of abilities, but Dr. Pinky, holy cow, that was a lot of damage. As he's gonna pop the maximum dosage here, only gonna pop one ultimate, but Dr. Pinky does have that teleport, so he is able to come back. But Vacant, he's just stalling for time there. Couch Potato gonna have vision in the pit, but he won't get there in time as the Thresh goes over the wall there. That's going to be a mystic shot over the wall. Going to hit the Nocturne, and the True Shot Barrage will go through, and it will claim his life. Tristana will get hit with a shockwave in the top side there of the fight, but Ornn will finally get taken down here. Searing Charge going to go forward, will not be enough. Bandit is just going to claim your Selling's life there. He's just trying to get on out, but the Dredge line will not be enough. Bandit is on a rampage here. It's going to be a 4-for-1 in favor of the Knights, and they're just going to keep on pushing in the bot lane.
I mean, losing your tank isn't the end of the world, so the Thresh dropping really not an issue whatsoever. As now 45,000 gold on the board, 22 minutes in, seems as if this game will be inevitable as they look to continue pushing in. Hazard, oh man, Vacant Tech having no issue pushing into this, going down to half
That's a lot of
HP.
damage.
And all
Courage. Oh,
right, maybe we'll be
he's
seeing
flashing
some kind of
forward, and
engagement.
he put the bomb on Vacant Tech here, and he won't get that one. He'll get a jump reset, gonna get slowed down with the cleavers, and Vacant Tech just walks on out there. Unfortunately, it looks like he was trying to get it onto Jakester, but Vacant Tech is way too big for that. As the Dredge line gonna land right on top of Emil, Call of the Forge God coming through, gonna dash over the wall, still gonna get that knock up without vision, gonna spell shield the death sentence. Bandit gonna get knocked up once again. All the CC coming through as Ari gonna go in, gonna get exhausted, not gonna have enough damage to get to Jarvan. True Shot Barrage onto 4 members of Coopa Troopa Black. Bandit going on a rampage, double kill already. That's it onto the Ornn and triple kill Bandit. He is going crazy here as he's trying to steal this game away from Coopa Troopas.
I think we have to give a lot of praise to Emil, especially. How on earth do you survive in that position? I really thought that this would be a team fight that they could steal away just due to the numbers advantage, but unfortunately, not going to be the case. That'll do it, though. Game number 1, a closed turnout as it is the Knights coming on in. Despite the seeds being closed, this game won't be, as it is a dominant victory at 24 minutes to secure game number 1.
Yeah, that was a 24-minute game, and it was just complete domination from beginning to end. I mean, they were always there to match Koopa's plays, and like really, like if you just look at it on paper on the standings, I mean, Knights there's the 7th seed, 1-4 match record. Koopa Troopas they're 2-4, 6th seed, and in the playoffs they Koopa lost 2-1 to Iceborne, and Knights lost 2-1 to Spirats. I actually took a game off. All 3 games were, or all 3 series, everybody took a game off, but otherwise, I mean, this was just really eye-opening here. Just a great start to this 3-game series for uh for Knights. So in a game like this, like what do you think Koopa needs to do to try to make a little comeback here, get that little mini reverse sweep?
I mean, you gotta really change it up, right? I think that overall, with how proficiently we saw the Ornn playing, I wouldn't be opposed to them taking more of a carry position on the board, right? Maybe send them on to something like the Ambessa to just get that on-line activity where you get a little bit more damage and don't really need to play a more passive role on just being the tank for the team. But maybe that's a little bit crazy. Overall, though, I just think it was very well played in general. So I'd like to see that continue as they really just dominated from start to finish. And overall, I just think this team is going to be able to completely overwhelm more likely than not in game 2, unless a massive resurgence does come out. So I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll have to wait and see.
So Knights of the Second Dinner, they take a very convincing game 1 victory against Koopa Troopas Black, but will the Knights end up sitting at the round table at the end of the day, or will Koopa Troopas Black come back in this series? We'll be right back after a short break.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming right back on at you as we're starting draft of game number 2. Similar bands that we saw in the game number 1, as we're going to get that first and second pick both underway in terms of bands that were the exact same, as well as what we see from Knights of the Second Dinner. Both teams just adopting the same ideas of what they pulled into play last game. The Graves going to be banned out once more. Makes a lot of sense. As we're going to continue playing through, hopefully we'll get a good draft to continue what we saw in the last game. A lot of staples of the current meta have already been picked out. I'm kind of expecting something like that Jarvan 4, maybe the Vi to get locked in as the junglers, as those were really massive pickups for both teams to play the meta in their first game. Beyond that, there's a couple more options you kind of like to look towards for options that they might pick out. But it does seem as if Knights of the Second Dinner have a little bit of an idea that they want to ban out one of these ADCs. They're going to go for that Corki by the looks of it, as they are just hovering over the ban. And it seems as if they might just have that in store for us. But so far, if I'm Knights of the Second Dinner, I'm kind of considering what my picks are going to look like. They're going to end up adopting for that Varus ban, trying to take that out ASAP. One of the strong, yep, there's the Xin Zhao, right? One of the best junglers in the game, if not the best currently. And you get a lot of value out of it. So Coopa Troopa, they're going to look to play the meta, try and shake it up on Knights of the Second Dinner, who had a really, really superb game number 1. So what's the response going to look like? The vibe was what I kind of initially expected. Beyond that, I mean, those are like the 4 meta junglers, right? Maybe take Nocturne out of that, add in something else. But the Rek'Sai, I was, I mean, it's definitely one of the stronger junglers in the current meta. I don't know if I'd call this the best, but it certainly would be up there. So we're gonna see what that continuation is gonna look like. Whether or not they're gonna go for an AP mid laner to kind of match with this, or what the initial pickup is going to be. As we are just seeing that hover up, locking and kind of embracing a little bit of a diverse play, the Yunara going to be the pickup. So they're going to swap over to one of the newer characters added to League of Legends and take an ADC with them. Still, though, this response, let's see what it does look like. Do they want to lock in an ADC of their own? We saw this team kind of initially expecting to lock in their support before ADC, pulling the Nautilus out, but it is the mid laner who they're going to have a bit of a kind of emphasis towards, sending Syndra into the Rift for game number 2. Again, one of the better mid laners currently. You get a lot of just burn, like you can really just blast away some HP real fast, somewhere towards the Oriana, and how that is going to play out. A little bit of lacking in mobility, however, that doesn't make them a bad champion by any means. The second pickup going to be coming out soon. The Corki. What seemed like the Knights of the Second Dinner wanted to ban it, they're going to have that pickup now. Coopa Troopa Black going to be able to secure this down in the mid lane. Now just lacking that support and top laner. Both teams going to look to possibly leave those top laners for another day, right? That second phase of the draft is when they're going to be coming out. What will Knights of the Second Dinner look to prioritize? We'll see what that is going to look like. They're likely going to go for the middle laner in their own right, as Malphite's going to be the lock-in. This is an interesting pick, because this could go top, jungle, or mid, depending on what they see fit. You could possibly see this in the support, but that is going to be a little bit of an unlikely category for it to be rocking into. As now the bans instantly do come underway. The Nami followed up by the Lulu. And the Silas seems to be the next option that they want to take away. So Coopa Troopa back with the last ban of game number 2. What do they see? What's going to be their final takeaway of, yes, this is what we can't afford to play against, and it will kind of create some gaps within our game plan. Taking their time figuring this one out, but it does seem as if we're going to get that, lock-in needed very, very soon. They're going to go for the Nico. An interesting ban up, to say the least. As I don't know, I mean, I guess Yunara and Nico does work really well, but I kind of do like it with the Corki. So it is interesting seeing that banned away. Maybe they have a bit of an initiative to fight with those kind of engaged supports like what we saw last game. So maybe we'll see something like maybe a Blitzcrank, one of those more hook-based characters. Who knows? But the Aurelian Soul to follow up, and that kind of forces that Malphite to either be in the jungle or top side, likely going to be in the top side with the Rek'Sai holding down the jungle. But it could always be the opposite, right? You see that Rek'Sai up in top, put the Malphite down and jungling. But what does the response look like from Coopa Troopa? I mean, you already have everything that your opponent's got locked. You still need that top laner. You're probably going to be expecting the Malphite to be a likely opposition in the top side of the map, but the Karma will be the first one. Great pair up with the Corki, and now you just need that 5th character locked. So you still do need a top lane, unless you're running something crazy like a Karma top, but it's a little bit unlikely even for my crazy mind. But as they are going to keep on waiting, keep on giving us, that little bit of intuition, they're taking their time for sure on some of these picks and bans, and as they are on match point, that is completely warranted. And it is going to be the Gwen. So if they do end up playing against the Malphite, really good pickup as Gwen plays phenomenally into this matchup up in top side. But as of now, it is just going to be the side of the Knights of the Second Dinner to have to pick up their 5th and final character. They do still need a support more likely than not, so we'll likely see that being the lock-in. What they do end up picking, they do have that Brahma available to them if they want to try and opt in for that. We saw that banned out last game. This time is a different story. It's the Urgot. So a very interesting composition to say the least. They got that Malphite and Urgot, likely putting their Urgot and the top side Malphite down in support, unless there's something even crazier that is eluding me. But that's going to be it for our picks and bans. We'll be back with the game in just a little bit. So ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a little bit.
Welcome back, everybody, to game 2 between 19 Dinner and Coopa Black. Just a quick little recap because I was not here. Coopa Troopas Black opted for that blue side, and the very short time that I was gone, Knights just went completely, for lack of better terms, they went completely bananas in their draft. So, Malphite support with Comet and Heal, Asol mid, Rek'Sai jungle, Urgot top. Yeah, they win game 1, and then they just went completely off the rails in their next draft. But, I mean, I ain't judging too much yet. Can't really knock it till you try it, I guess.
I disagree. I think realistically, based on what we're seeing, this Urgot is like a one trick perhaps, as we saw this banned out in game number 1, and then for some reason deciding not to ban it out again. I will say yes, the Malphite support is a little bit interesting, but I think there's a method to this madness. You have that Asol to combo with, and if you do get into these wide team fights, that can really start to put a pinch on your opponents. Everyone's grouped up, you get that Karma, you get that Corki, both underway with the ulti from the Malphite, followed up with a nice Asol move in. It can really start to lock in some damage. And then overall, right, like, they might have intended on having that Malphite up towards the top side, but after they see the Gwen walk in, that's going to be a difficult matchup. Just so, in general, like, you're not going to want to send that down there. The Asol is a little bit interesting, but it's a similar thing of, like, if they want to try and play this kind of AP-heavy comp, you have that Rek'Sai to try and combo with it relatively well. But as of now, I'm not totally sure on how this is going to play out, and it does seem as if it is a different story. We'll see if that's going to be the case.
I'll take your word for it. There might be a method to this madness. Vacant Tech is pretty much going dead even. That top side, that the bot side is a little bit rough. You know, having that Malphite support, you don't have a lot of priority early game. But Vacant Tech gonna get that solo kill in the top lane pretty much. Gets that flash ignite with the PTA proc, and Gwen, just accepts the fate their draft will give over that first blood. Husky Templar is back, so they do have the main ADC here. But I mean, the Yunar is down like 10 CS. It's a little rough. They're gonna look for a dive here. That Bandit's been taking a lot of chunk damage. A Mantra Key will not land, fortunately for the Knights. But Xin Zhao is here, kind of holding up this bottom wave a little bit here. So this will be a dive going through. Let's see how they're going to run this. As you're selling, going to take one free tower shot. That's a heal coming through. Does still have the flash in the barrier. Flash barrier would come, lightning come through. And Couch Potato going to pick up that one. And it's going to be a clean. Oh, not quite that clean. It's going to be a 1-for-1 in the bot lane there. You're selling, giving over kill to Bandit. But Couch Potato going to pick up that one on the other end. So gold lead is pretty much damn near going to be even. So not a bad trade overall in the bot lane. You deny Yanara a pretty sizable wave.
That's a good start. Unfortunate for this support, though, the Karma. I mean, I don't think it was intended. I think they wanted to have the Xin Zhao taking the first hit, but they took the first hit and they tried to get out after that, but I don't think they realized that they were the one who took that first hit from the tower, so it was a little bit unfortunate as they kind of stayed in a little bit too long, which allowed their life to be conceded at the very last moment. But in the end, despite being towered over, it wasn't the end of the world. They do lose a couple players over in the top side, but that wasn't really any fault of their own. It was just a 1v1 down in bot. As we do see the heal potions already getting utilized. I do like this new ADC coming into the mix. It certainly seems like that it's allowing this team to be a little bit rejuvenated, as a major reason for why this team had such a disappointing game number 1 was primarily due to a failing bot lane, where they had conceded they had conceded 4 Drakes in a row, which you really can't allow. And I mean, that's not too much of the fault of the bot lane itself, as much as it is going to be just the general idea of you cannot be allowing this, jungler to get super ahead. But unfortunately, the Jarvan just was a little bit too much to handle.
Last game was try to go really aggressive bot lane, try to put a lot of resources bot, but I mean, Bandit was just really too good. Like, he just always barely got out there, and that Thresh pick really is the kind of that unsung savior, constantly saving his team whenever they get into dire straits. So Husky Templar, the main ADC for Coopa Troopas Black here. See if he can kind of turn this game around here, as Bandit is going to go down to a 20 CS deficit, losing out on a lot of these trades here. So now Couch Potato can really um, put more emphasis into that bot lane, kind of continue what he's doing, but he kind of has a more familiar face to play around top side. Looking to be another solo kill there. The Fear Beyond Death claims that one right under the tower. Vacant going to be 2-0 in that top lane 1v1 here. Gold lead is going to kind of be offset by that bot lane CS deficit, but overall, like you said, Vacant Tech is pretty much an OTP Urgot here, and he's having a great time against the Gwen, as Couch Potato here is going to pick up a kill in return, but he's taking a lot of damage, but the Wind becomes laning. Just popping that level 6 there, going to live. Bot lane, Bandit going forward with that Cultivation of Spirit. Flash forward by Tiny Shoes actually to get that slow, but going to start burning up there on that Valkyrie a little bit, but it is going to be a 1-for-1 there. Flash 4 barrier trade. No, Asol roaming on down, gonna put down the star. The shield's gonna be enough, and Husky Templar once again barely gets out there with another shield from the Karma, and Flash already used by Your Selling, so it looks like it could be a Drake start here, but Emil is just gonna start pathing towards that top side, clearing up his top respawns.
I mean, ideally, I think that the Drake could be a nice adaptation for him, but as of now, I think you really got to look towards this Xin Zhao as a massive playmaker for this team, and they've completely turned the script from when they were on the Nocturne, really just kind of playing for time, looking to just get that jungle waves. This time they're super, super absorbed in the play, and now as we are going to be seeing a bit of an engagement towards mid.
Weak, but the Unstoppable Force coming through does have the flash to get on out there, but Tiny Shoes going to keep running there with the Seismic Shard to slow him down. As Your Selling going to get hit with the Singularity Flash over the wall by Emil, going to knock up Your Selling. He's going to get taken down. No, whoa, he's going to live barely, but Emil is going to get that last second Void Rush to claim that one. It's going to be a 2-0 here, or 2-for-1. Couch Potato picking up a kill. Husky Templar finally getting his first kill of the series, and it's a little bit of a skirmish that Knights could not capitalize on.
No. As they go in, engage, we see a lot of ults, and the Xin Zhao Couch Potato just able to secure so much DPS unfiltered, and no real return in the exchange. And I was very surprised. I felt like coming into this fight that they should have had a much better spot for the Knights, as you have that Rebellion Soul who's super good in these close range engagements.
Hold that thought, and that's a big shutdown going over to Bandit.
I mean, the few hundred gold does get converted, which is really nice, and it's going to allow you to get that gold equalization back into play. But over towards this top side is where we could really start to see some damage, because you are going to be getting a 3v2, and if the Knights are able to collapse and get these Void Grubs without a second thought, that could make a bit of a change.
Yeah, they did pick up one grub, but you know, no real deep vision. They don't know where Couch Potato is. Stun landing on top of Emil, but he's able to use the tunnels to get on out of dodge there. No more CC follow-up. Vacant Tech gonna have to be a little bit careful there. Needlework gonna get called down. Vacant Tech using that E to get dash on out there, but he has 3 members of Coopa looking for him, but finally using that flash to get on out. So that's gonna be 1 grub claim for the side of the Knights, but you know, no real deep vision. Emil couldn't really continue forcing that fight, as Tiny Shoes is here, does have that Unstoppable Force, so Xin Zhao gonna have to be a little bit careful there. Gonna use that smite to get that last grub. Oh, he did not. There was just 1. So they do get that 1 grub. Vacant Tech going back in there. Does not have flash, mind you. Scatter of the week. The CC coming down. Dr. Peaky gonna get the first kill of the team fight. Emil gonna get that second grubby, but a little bit of a fumble Rooski there by Jakester using the Falling Star over the wall. But the rest of his team does get on out there. Vacant Tech stalling for enough time to get that second grub.
Yeah, decent gold lead does confirm, as everything except the top lane is really starting to skyrocket. We're about to get that Kraken start online over the bot side on the King Knights of the second dinner roster, and objectively, I mean,
and bot lane, Valkyrie gonna get interrupted. Husky Templar gonna get slowed up. Does have the barrier. He will get dove in here, but Karma will be there in the nick of time with the shield. As mid lane, Jakester going forward with the Singularity, getting the slowdown, knowing no more CC coming out, but the wave is gonna body block the Breath of Light. but lots of skirmishing from both sides here. Gwen forced the flash away from the Rek'Sai in the top lane, and overall, I mean, as all the gold is pretty much on Couch Potato, but he's on a champion that's a lot is better to be able to facilitate his team. Gonna land all the DPS onto Bandit, gonna get hit with the Monster Cube, but he's gonna be flashed away at the last second. And so Bandit gets on out there barely with his life. So now the gold is gonna get equalized in that bot lane 2v2. But Couch Potato is gonna be a real big problem later on these bigger team fights.
As we're going to still see the root convert, this Malphite, they have a bit of utility to slow them down, but nothing to be able to convert the kill as the ulti isn't going to be available.
Top lane, yep, it looks like it's going to be another kill here maybe. Vacant Tech going to get the slowdown, dodging out very well on the needlework, so very good footwork there. But using that Ignite, pushing him out, does not have that fear beyond death, so Gwen just getting really chunked in these short little trades. They're not able to sustain, not able to land those 1,000 cuts. So gold lead about 800-ish in favor of Coopa Troopas Black here. Drake spawning in about a minute and a half. Herald spawning in about 2.25. So otherwise, I mean, as much as Couch Potato is super fed here, as they need to hold off on that thought. Bandit gonna use that ultimate, gonna get the slowdown. Bandit gonna get that 2v2 kill there. And Tiny Shoes barely gonna miss on that unstoppable force. So Husky Templar just lives barely. And so they know Couch Potato is topside. Or I don't think they know Couch Potato is topside, but they're gonna get that 2v2 kill there and start equalizing out this gold lead as this bot deficit gets bigger and bigger.
They do have a couple abilities online to try and make something happen, but no ultis, going to mean that it's a very unlikely opportunity. And it's down towards top side.
Yeah, he's dead again. The Fear Beyond Death comes through. That slow is very debilitating. As mid lane, Emil's going to get that gank off. We don't know what's happening top lane. The Starfall going to go down, and he's going to get the slow just enough. Dr. Picky MD will get taken out. Unleashed Power will not be enough. So top lane, finally, Couch Potato will get the kill onto that Urgot. That did take a good minute there. So lots of cross-map plays being done here by Knights as they pretty much equalize the gold lead completely. Just right before the Drake spawn here. So they're going to have a couple late resets. So they're going to have to beeline it straight for this Drake if they want to claim this second one of the game.
And Drake is going to be spawning up, but as the concession does come in, Tiny Shoes is going to give them their appearance.
So,
as now the Drake does get started with the healing available.
Yeah, Couch Potato is here, does have that Crescent Guard to deny a lot of damage. Teleport coming in by Jakester, or no, by Vacant Tech actually, I forgot they changed that. Your Selling will be the first person to get taken out in the team fight. Gonna get flipped on his head. Couch Potato, when becomes lightning coming through, almost gets a kill on Bandit, but gonna deep Scatter the Weak comes through there to pick up a kill on the back end, but they're gonna lose this second Drake here. And it's not even a shutdown. I don't think it was a shutdown on that Xin Zhao. I really don't understand how this gold works nowadays this season. Mid lane, Fear Beyond Death just barely misses, but they do get the flip on the Syndra. And Vacant Tech picking up his 4th kill of the game here. He is just all over this map.
Yeah, putting up so much impact across the board, really showcasing their brilliance. And at a 26k gold, not a big lead for either team. We're already 15 minutes in. 8 minutes into this game from now, we have already seen one team win in game 1. This time it seems like we're going to be getting a little bit more towards a prolonged game. As already, a bit of offensive structuring down towards the bot side, and the Kraken Slayer is putting in the effort.
Yeah, that was a lot of chunk there, you know, every single time. Like, Bandit has that Cultivation of Spear. He just goes straight on in. Jakester gonna have to be really careful here. It's gonna be a 3-man dive in the top side. I don't think he spots it quite yet. Couch Potato going down, flash away from the way becomes lightning. He's gonna start flying on out there. Flash with the 3 talent strike. Your Selling gonna pick up that kill on the Aurelian Soul. But bot lane, Knights of the Second Dinner are going to start pressuring that bot lane tier 1, seeing if they can get that first tower of the game here. But gold lead is just gonna go slightly ever so into Koopa's pockets here as the Crescent Guard gonna go through, but it won't be enough. Emil gonna pick up that kill. Tiny Shoes gonna land a slow there. Bandit, he's taking a lot of damage, the heal and the berry coming out, but Husky Templar will get taken down in the 2v2. Tiny Shoes picking up that one. Void Rush going through. Your selling is going to get taken out there with Fear Beyond Death is going to tail aim his life flash away from the needlework. Gwen is going to get taken down ever so slowly. The Q lands down, and Vacant Tech coming back for a double kill. And Knights of the Second Dinner, after a slightly rough early game here, have completely nullified Couch Potatoes' lead. As there's more action across the map here, as the Singularity going to slow up the Syndra, going to get slowed down with the Breath of Light also, but Tiny Shoes will be able to get on out there as they just barely don't get the kill there onto Dr. Pinky.
That's what's kind of implicating when we were at the start of this game, right? The Malphite and Aurelion Soul can combo so well together. Somehow the Syndra will be able to live through it, and it will not be a kill converted. However, you do got to give pressure, right? It's that existing damage that's already going to be commencing, and as of now, we're going to get that Herald online over for the Knights, and sending that into their favor. As of now, they have taken 2 Void Grubs, as well as the Herald, really controlling this map, and where they plan to send it seems like the answer is going to look towards the mid lane. As you got 3 players in contention over here, the Aurelion Soul sitting solo over towards bot lane, able to break this wave of minions relatively smoothly, as the ultimate does stray their opponents away. Here's the opposing wave to come in, unable to collect on the plate. However, that will likely just result in a couple players coming to try and commence.
And Jakester is dead. So a little bit of a shallow recall, but I mean, I don't know. It's like all the gold was on Couch Potato, you know? He didn't really... Like, he was kind of asserting that lead, but he just happened to get all the kills, so, you know, really wasn't able to spread all that love. Now it's about a 2.5k gold lead in favor of Knights of the Second Dinner, and they're just really kind of running away, you know? We have 4 shutdowns for the side of Knights, so they have to kind of tiptoe around these next couple team fights a little bit. They really don't want to give any of the extra gold here with the game being so close.
Currently, we do see this top lane matchup. The Ghost Blade being an interesting buy, going for some lethality, as well as a bit of extra move speed to be created with it. And with everyone chasing them out,
yeah, you guys are chasing up onto him. As the needlework comes through there, Herald spawned up in the mid lane. They're going to keep trying to go onto Emil, going to get marked. But Vacant Tech is living for a really long time here, as they're trying to give the kill over to the Gwen, and she finally picks it up with 1,000 cuts. As a shutdown going over to the Gwen. Bandit just going to get stunned up, and the rest of the team coming through. The Unstoppable Force used to peel, but a shutdown going over to Dr. Pinky MD. Tiny Shoes does not have a tower to go under, as he gets hit with another stun, and he gets taken out. And a lot of big shutdowns going over to the side of Coopa Troopas Black, as they finally equalize this gold lead here. Drake spawning in about 25 seconds.
Yeah, it should be a Drake converted for the Coopa Troopas. It's without 3 of the players, it's going to be very unlikely that they'll be able to make anything happen. And you see the pings saying, yep, let's head on down. Drake is going to be ours, as 10 seconds. The respawns do come in. However, there's a bit of an opportunity on the top side, saying, yes, this is what we want. We want an extra bit of gold, as they'll take back the lead. But with the Drake not being contested heavily, that could definitely leave them in a bit of a difficult spot.
Knights of the Second Dinner, they set the prio up beforehand, and so now it's gonna start getting cleared out by Coopa Troopas Black. So they're gonna lose a lot of vision going into this pit. So honestly, I really don't know if they want to look for this fight here, as Coopa Troopas, as the Scatter of the Weak barely misses on the stun there. So Emil is gonna still be pretty healthy, as Knights of the Second Dinner, they're trying to get a little bit of shallow vision here, playing up in this corridor. So you're going to have to be a little bit careful. They're going to have to walk into this 5-man team. It's going to be a 5v5, the first 5v5 of the game. They have 20 minutes for the third Drake. And Tiny Shoes going to walk on forward, going to get a little bit of damage. As a star comes through, Singularity, they're all inside the pit. Unstoppable Force onto 2 members. As that's a Fear Beyond Death, fearing up the rest of Coopa Troopas Black. 2 members are already down for the Koopas, as that's going to be Bandit getting taken out there right at the tail end. Gonna go forward with the shield, and Husky Templar is not able to get a return kill onto Vacant Tech. A triple kill going over the Jakester. They lose the Drake, but they win the fight. Ace at 20.5 minutes here for Knights of the Second Dinner.
As a nice team fight, despite losing out on the previous one, they're gonna come back and absolutely decimate in this engagement, as now they're going to be able to get this rejuvenation on their HP bars. They're going to get these waves pushed in, and so far 3 players still responding. They might even opt in for a Baron. I mean, it doesn't seem very feasible as of now, but it was maybe possible. Maybe, I mean, who knows? Might have just been a gust of wind going there, but as we do see a lot of players starting to organize over towards topside. 3 of the blue individuals already in river, and they're going to look to make their mark.
Slowed up here, but he's going to go back in for the fight, knowing the rest of his team is here to reinforce. Flash forward, Vegatech going on a killing spree. Your selling is all by himself in the backside, and he'll get taken out. Vegatech going double kill here, and that's going to be a very misplayed fight there for the side of Coopa Troopas Black, as they immediately lose 2 members on the Baron. So now this should be a Baron start here for Knights of the Second Dinner. They're going to start it up now. They do have 5 members here. Tiny Shoes waiting in the wings with the Unstoppable Force, but it's going to be a Baron given over for free here at 22 minutes into the game, as this Goldie going to start ballooning up to about 5k after this Baron take.
There's the stun and the engagement from the Malphite, keeping them out and keeping them halted.
He stood a little bit too close there to the sun, as Jakester drops one right on top of him and picks up a kill there. Husky Templar, what are you doing, buddy? He wants to get that kill onto Jakester, flashing over the wall as he finally does get a kill, but the falling, collapsing star does finally come through, but the Void Rush going forward will claim his life there. I don't think that was quite worth it, as Giraffe is on the bot side pushing, finally getting another tower for his team. They're getting that bot lane tier 2, and Drake spawns in about 2.5 minutes. So Knights of the Second, they're gonna have full time with this Baron. They're gonna go straight onto Emil, gonna get rooted up. Tiny Shoes trying to run away there, does get the slow. We'll have Flash here soon, so they could look for the rest of this fight, but no, what Giraffe is here to reinforce, gonna pick up his 3rd kill of the game here. Emil slowed up, about to get rooted by the Karma W, but he just barely gets to his tunnels in time. So that's going to be 2 Barons gone for the side of Knights of the Second Dinner, but Coopa Troopas Black really stalling that Baron, so only about a minute and 50 seconds left for Knights to do something with the Baron.
And not a lot of time to play with, but they do have this in the locked. Let's see, Vacant Tech going to be able to gather some gold down in bot side, taking down some of these rocks and shutting them down, giving them over towards mid lane. Maybe another fight to be able to preoccupy some time, looking to bait out the rest of this Baron buff, and it is going to be going down relatively shortly. So as we're just going to be getting another engagement possibly to falter down towards where we will be seeing the next Drake coming through. Yeah, you note a lot of players that are starting to gather here. 2 on the red side, 3 on the blue side. As Corky starts to move away, it does seem like neither team has too much of an intention to start setting up already.
Yeah, I mean, Drake's going to spawn at about a minute and 10 seconds here, so just kind of a bit of a slower pace in the game now. We hit a little bit of a lull, so everybody's just kind of farming up. But right now, the biggest priority is Vacant Tech, as Unstoppable Force over the wall, gonna knock up the Gwen at the Karma. Karma gonna be the first person to kill in the team fight there, as the needlework coming through. Let's see if they get the heal. Crescent Guard gonna be a lot, and the knockback's coming through. Gwen going on a double kill here. And that's going to be 3 members instantly taken down here just before the Drake spawn. And that might be sole point here for Coopa Troopas if they get to reset and spend his money.
Not a great fight to take as the EMP explodes all of them. And at this point, it is certainly seeming as if this game could go either team's way. About to be on sole point, unless they can get prolonged for the moment being. 20 seconds until that Drake does spawn, and you're on the Knights, you don't really have a real way to get into this Baron, or not Baron, Drake pit, as Couch Potato is just sitting on the outside.
17 Urgot, gonna get stunned up, does have that Stairx gauge, so he's gonna have a pretty hefty shield trying to run on out. That Stairx gauge is gonna get popped, and that's gonna be a big shutdown going over Husky Templar, as the top lane carry for Knights gets picked off at the last second, as they're gonna, Coopa Troopas Black gonna get sole point here at 25 minutes, as Tiny Shoes might have to flash away. He's just going to go straight on in. That's a 3-man knockup. Instantly, everybody's getting taken out. Coopa Troopas Black. They will get absolutely eviscerated by the collapse from Knights, as Dr. Pinky MD trying to get out as fast as he can. Lays that Scatter of the Weak. Doesn't quite have the Void Rush. Emil does not. And Knights of the Secondary, they're going to push up on these towers as they start reclaiming the gold lead once again here.
I mean, that was just absolutely ridiculous. The triple knockup followed up by a second triple knockup, really just locking up the Coopa Troopas completely, as setting up this gold lead, really looking good. Unfortunately, they're not able to convert the Drake, but the extra gold does give them a bit of a cushion despite that. So let's see if they'll be able to finish off nicely, as there is going to be a Baron in 2 minutes. Maybe they'll try and fight down topside, as there is going to be an inner tower still available. However, with the backs coming in, seems like they're just going to reset and look to fight for another day.
I mean, I'm really surprised they looked for that fight. Yeah, I mean, it was fighting over air. Yeah, they get a little bit of gold and they lose soul point. But that was like the example of, that was like that example of the team fight strengths you were talking about at the beginning of the game here. They get all those triple knockups. I mean, this is an ARAM Mayhem, so they're not going to get that combo breaker, unfortunately. So they're just going to keep getting knocked up forever and ever. And they just can't really do anything about that, because it's all unmitigatable. You pretty much have 3 knockups on the side of Knights. So they're just able to chain that together here. Jakester did just use the Sky's Descend, so he won't have that empowered ultimate for this next one. Actually, he's about to get it fairly shortly here. He's about 7 Stardust off. So he's going to have that for the next team fight here. But right now, I mean, it's a 3K gold lead. I mean, the gold swung back and forth like 3 times in the past like 5 minutes. But it doesn't really matter at this point, honestly. It's just kind of like up to the execution here, seeing who gets picked off before what fight and who wants to take the fight to the team. As Gwen is going to get spotted out there by the echolocation. Gwen is going to dash over the wall there. No real follow-up means she just gets on out there. But it's soul point, so it kind of forces Knight's hands whenever the next Cloud Drake does spawn in about 2.5 minutes. But right now, I mean, we're hitting a little bit of a slow spot here. Both teams are just kind of farming up, trying to get as much priority as they can here. But this is a pretty bloody game. It's almost averaging 2 kills per minute. And the Baron just spawning now. So they know where the Xin Zhao is. They could look to kind of just force a bit of a pick there. As they know, Pinky MD is bot side. He does have teleport. Both soul laners have teleport. They could look for the fight. But they know they're bots, so now they're going to starting up this Baron here. They're kind of shredding this pretty quick, as Tiny Shoes is zoning out Couch Potato. That's a tanky fella. As they know the Baron is started up. Tiny Shoes getting chunked like crazy as the Sky's dead down, and that's going to be a pick onto the Karma, flashing away barely. Unstoppable force. All the CC knocked up on Couch Potato, not going to be in time to get the Crescent Guard off, as Husky Templar is going to get peeled by the Scatter of the Weak. Dr. Pinky MD going to get the Unleashed Power off to get the kill on the backside. So it's going to be a 1-for-1. No jungler. Gwen is going forward now as the solo laners coming through. Vacant Tech is also here to help reinforce. Bandit is in the middle of a mad sandwich, and he will get taken out. Vacant Tech is not fed enough, and it's going to be an ace here. A triple kill going over to Giraffe, and Coopa Troopas Black going to start up this bear. Now, thank you for the leash.
Yeah, that was not a great team fight. We saw Tiny Shoes playing really offensively to start it out. Nobody really working to try and like make that unmitigated damage mean anything. And then like towards the end of it, right, like it was just overall we saw the ultimate coming out from the Rolling Soul looking to try and challenge. However, you did it on a single person. The whole reason that, this is a massive like crowd control character, you're looking to be able to make it on a lot of players. Like you can deal that type of damage on the Corki, but you can do that alone. You don't need that ultimate to really help it out. And if you do, you can just say to the rest of the team, hey, let's go in right after this. But unfortunately, they were a little bit kind of lackluster on the play. And then I don't think there was any reality where Tiny Shoes should have died. They stayed into the engagement way too long, despite being at 1 HP, not able to really help. So in general, I think it could have been played significantly better. Let's see if that'll change anything. I mean, the Baron buff is now here, but obviously it's kind of, as you said earlier, right? It's almost completely up to the execution at this point. Very little is going to depend on how much gold you have, how many Drakes you have, any of that.
Pretty much going to be completely negligible here. Full prio onto the Drake by Knights of the Second Dinner. Big stun onto Bandit, so he's going to be pretty low here. I'm going to be at 3/4 HP now, so now both teams going to play the do-si-do around this Drake. They spot out the Gwen on the flank. They don't actually, so they're going to go for it. Who's going to get it? It's going to be the Rek'Sai, and Knights of the Second Dinner, they're going in for this fight against the Baron buff. Unstoppable Force over the wall to help peel his team, but the Needlework coming through. Vegetech going to pick up the first kill here. It's going to be a 1-for-1 top or mid laner for support here. Vacantech trying to run away as fast as he can. Does not have that U-moves active. He's going to go and try to kill, but Husky Templar going to pick up that one with the Karma Shields. So it's going to be 3 members up for Knights. The Baron buff will still be active for about another minute and a half here, but no real wave set means that Coopa Troopas are going to be losing precious time with the Purple Worm.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to say the least. As I mean, those played better. I think that one was a lot more close. Objectively, though, you know, it's rough playing these team fights with an Urgot, who is like exclusively good for their solo duels. Once you put them in a multiplayer situation where they have to fight and can't really rely on their ultimate to be able to just execute that player, it gets a little bit more dicey. And overall, we're 30 minutes in. Very different game than what we saw in game number 1. The Urgot will be respawning soon. If I'm on this Coopa Trooper roster, though, I'm kind of saying to myself, hey, this should be the time to hit the go button, no? I mean, yes, you know, the opponents are able to kind of relive this, but we want to utilize this Baron buff to the fullest extent possible. And as well as that, I mean, for the most part, during these past few seconds, the the Urgot was still in the gray screen. So they kind of waited a little bit. And now you kind of look towards what's happening around the map. It seems like they might be setting up for a Baron, perhaps. You see a couple players starting to loom over there. I do like the fact that when we did see the Knights able to score out that Drake, which was a very necessary win for them, or else they're giving up a Cloud Soul, but they kind of lost it in exchange for a team fight because of that just massive amount of damage that just got inputted as soon as possible. But there's the
battle. Get dressed upon here, but we have 2 fights on 2 different fronts. Dr. Pinky MD gonna get knocked up, slowed up. He'll get taken out there. There's gonna be 1 kill going over. Jakester gonna get the slow onto the Gwen, and she'll just barely edge out there with the tip of the scissors. Vacantech is going to be chilling up in the top side. A teleport coming through from the Gwen here, but she doesn't have that needlework. It's gonna be Emil picking up a kill on the Corki first, as Tiny Shoes is just gonna run out there with the speed from the seismic shard. So overall, it's gonna be a 2-for-1 here in favor of Knights. Gold lead pretty much completely dead even. It's all coming down to the execution of these team fights.
I'm in love with that Crescent card played out, though, able to just kind of discard so much of the pressure being built up, and it looked nice. It seemed as if they were like, if you know, the Knights opted into staying in that engagement, there's no reality in which they're winning it out. So you got to give them that credit to be able to say, yep, we are backing up. But on the other side of things, really great team play. I mean, the Gwen able to shut down their first over in the bot side, looking good. And as Jakester fell, I mean, Jakester into Gwen is just a difficult matchup. The Aurelian Soul likes to play with a team. The Gwen very much so does not.
Now, finally online, 4 full items here. I mean, if you want to count boots, it's 5. And the Xin Zhao is a real, I mean, at this point, he's not really a threat. He just lives forever. I mean, he has the Death's Dance, Stairs Gauge, Karma Shields, plus the Sundered Sky. I mean, he is so big right now in the front line here without being a real, you know, quote-unquote frontliner. Soul, or Cloud Drake going to be spawning in a little over a minute here. Bandit did opt for that Zhonya, so a lot of defensive items coming out from both teams here. 2 Zhonyas on the side of Coopa Troopas Black. Hopefully they did notice that. And the Rek'Sai did get an Abyssal Mask here to help with that Yanara and Aurelian Soul damage. So full priority on the Drake side here for the side of Knights of the Second Dinner. But right now, I mean, it's looking a little dicey here now because every single fight after is going to mean a lot here. These death timers aren't going to last a while. You're selling, going a little bit too close there, but don't want to use that unstoppable force just yet, just to pick off the support. Drake spawning in 30 seconds, and both these teams really just holding this priority. They do not want to lose any sort of foothold around this Drake.
So, all right, I'm very happy. I thought for a moment that they might have tried executing in the jungle to force an engagement. That would have been very sad for the Knights if they did that, as this Syndra has proven consistently that they're able to thrive in that type of position. Why are they fighting, though? You can really start to push the issue on this Drake if needed, as it will be spawning in 4, but they're kind of playing a little bit towards that proactivity, which you can't really hate but at the same time, I don't love. They're all very moshed together, which, yes, this
Ooh.
could be a good situation, but when you're dealing with the Syndra, Karma, all that, it gets really, really bad. But
No,
the
unstoppable
knock-up,
force on top of the Zin's out. Big 5-man crescent guard. So much damage. Jinx are going to be the first person to go down. 2 kills already going over. Fear Beyond Death going to go down now. They're going to fear the Syndra or the Gwen. But it's going to be a triple kill going over to Husky Templar. He's going to looking for that quadra kill, but the Gwen is going to steal that away, and it's going to be an ace at 36 minutes, and they might try to end the game there with a small wave mid.
yeah, they definitely are just going to be able to end the game there. Unfortunate to say the least over on the Knights of this second dinner, but I mean, I don't even know. There's not a lot to say about it. They engaged way too early. They got hit by a 5-man crescent guard, which I mean, you can't be allowing this. I mean, I don't know. It's just rough. It is really, really rough, but that is going to do it. Game number 3 will be underway very, very soon.
We're on break. Welcome back, everybody. We're gonna start Game 3 draft shortly for Knights at Second Dinner versus Coopa Troopas Black. Knights at Second Dinner opt for blue side this game, but overall, I mean, last game was super close up until the last couple team fights there, where Knights just kind of started crumbling under the pressure a little bit, and they started kind of fumbling up on their team fights, not quite syncing up correctly with those big team fight ultimates. But I mean, looking at how that last draft went, I mean, I think Knights might look to go for a more stable composition this time around. But knowing them, I kind of doubt that something like that would happen. Husky Templar definitely coming back did put a lot of vigor into the hearts of Koopa Troopas Black. They did make that nice little comeback victory there. Um, Last game, I mean, it was pretty close, but I would have to say um, probably Giraffe player of the match there, just because he really did just come back from like going down, like I think about like 0-4-1 in lane, and then just completely took over all those team fights later on there. The Urgot really fell off as we jump straight into the draft here, and it's going to be once again it's going to be Victor, Fizz, Varus. I think that's a slightly different ban here. No, it's not. It's the same thing. So I don't really expect too many different bans here. Just like a lot of targeted power picks that you really don't want to give away in a deciding game 3, because now at this point it's win or go home for both of these teams here. So yeah, it looks like it's just going to be the same bans here, but instead, Knights, they're going to ban away the Ash instead of the Graves. That's a different move from last game. So Knights or Koopa, they might look to grab up that Graves here. Graves is like kind of one of those junglers. They get buffed a good bit. They buffed his resistances on his E because now I think it gives both armor and MR when you dash. Is what I think the change was a couple patches ago. I have to look that up again, but they're gonna give Couch Potato his Graves here. Couch Potato has been really influential in all these games here. So it's going to be the Aphelios first pick. So that's a very surprising pick. Aphelios not particularly great unless like um Aphelios is like one of those champs you really have to be proficient in the champ to be able to pilot it at a high level. So curious to see how Doku or no Bandit is going to pilot that because last game, I mean, he had a little rough early game, but um later on kind of started ramping up. Last game, I mean, he kind of slowed down, got nullified just a little bit there. So hopefully Knights kind of have come up with a game plan to be able to kind of keep Bandit in the game. Game 1 he completely just blasted Koopa. So it's going to be the Misfortune picked up here, and it's going to be the Mel. Oh yeah, because Mel wasn't banned. That was a different ban for Koopa. So they're going to pick the Mel up here instead of that Graves. So we're gonna see what they pick here because Aphelios, I mean, Braum is up still. It is a hard counter. So here's to see if Knights will pick that one up blind. It's not a terrible blind, but in Misfortune doesn't prepare particularly well with enchanters, with the exception of Seraphine. So Seraphine is also still up. And so Knights are gonna pick up that Braum here. But if y'all are wondering why I'm yapping so much, because my co-caster has not returned quite yet here.
Huh?
So oh, you're
What?
here. Holy cow. That
Yeah,
was
I've
that
been
was really
here.
scary, actually. Oh my god.
No, I've been here the whole time.
Oh really? Oh man, I didn't know that. My bad, dude.
It's
I
all
was just
good.
rambling on the whole time.
That's really funny though. Yeah, I mean it's pretty simple comps. It's actually very different than what we've seen though, where the ADCs got prioritized really early on, and a Vigar. Wow, that's a pick.
Yeah, that's something pretty random. I mean, the setup is great with the Vigar, but into Mel, I'm not too well versed in Mel matches. The only thing I know for Mel is that it's something that you can't like reflect very easily. So something like a Zerath wouldn't be too bad. So Koopa, they go for they basically counter themselves here. They pick Misfortune Leona bot lane. So they kind of shoot themselves in the foot there with that bot lane. So I don't really know because that's I don't know. They kind of just shot themselves in the foot there with that bot lane because Braum hard counters both Misfortune and Leona. So that's going to be a little bit of a roughie here. So both teams dropping their junglers. So I kind of want to see Jarvan is off the table, so that's not something that's something that would be very good for Knights, but they don't have that up now. So now at this point, the jungle pool, all the meta junglers have kind of been pinched off a little bit, except for something like a Wukong. But both of these, both Couch Potato and Emil don't really play it that much. So curious to see what kind of crazy jungler picks we're gonna get out of here.
I mean, as of now, it is just going to be that basic, standard gameplay, but I'm very excited. And I think that it's Knights of the Second Dinner who I'm like kind of concerned on this composition because the way they were winning the fights was significantly due to those like mass stun pools where you're getting that Aurelion Soul and that Malphite lined up together to be able to really combo and lock people up. You don't necessarily have that. The Vigard, yes, you have the cage, but beyond that, the Aphelios doesn't really have a whole ton to help you out with the CC. The Braum doesn't really either. On the other side, though, you're looking at a really, really unfortunate situation if it can come into fruition, as the Leona's got a lot of CC abilities. The Mel can do that as well. And the Misfortune, we all know what happens when the Misfortune gets a lot of people locked in one place.
Yeah, I mean the combo is great. So like the difference between like a good Braum and a great Braum is shield discipline. So really, like honestly, like not to put all the pressure on his shoulders, but um a lot of this game kind of hinges on Tiny Shoes. Like Tiny Shoes has been doing really well these past couple games. So I really expect to see great things with this Braum pick. And it's gonna be Olaf picked up here for Coopa Troopas. So game three, Fearless, we're already going a little bit off the rails here. So that Olaf can be flexed into top or jungle. So Koopa Troopas doing a nice job in the draft there, kind of um, giving a lot of space for their draft if they want to deviate into something else. But Knights, I mean, they kind of have to, they're kind of lacking in the engage department here. So if they ever want to do start a fight, it's going to be a little bit rough. But just as I say that, they do have a Vi here. So Knights, they're going to have to pick. They might have to pick up either another nice little chunky frontliner or a little dive buddy to go in with that Vi here, because not a lot of follow up if Vi goes in way too deep. So right now, I mean, Knights, I kind of like their composition here. They scale really heavily, and it's a Tom Kench top lane. I haven't seen that in so long.
That's a that's a fun one. That is a fun one. But the Olaf into it, the Olaf could actually be like really weak into this. So I'm not sure. I mean, you're usually seeing these unconventional picks and thinking immediately like, okay, yeah, that's not going to be good. But this could really be a strong. Oh, maybe the Olaf's going to be locked into the jungle then. Um, so the Gnar going to come out, and maybe they were planning on putting it in top and just decided not to after that pickup comes in. But yeah, it's very good. That's very good.
I really do like this. Oh, it's a Vladimir.
Oh
Okay.
man,
So so Vladimir top against Tom Kench. That is very interesting. So I think it was like 2 seasons ago, they nerfed Tom Kench top by nerfing his sustain with his E. That was one of the big proponents, but they buffed a good chunk of his like percentage HP damage or his HP scalings with like his Q and his autos. So I mean, I really this is completely off the rails here. I mean, Koopa Troopas, it's a bit of a crazy composition here. It's a little bit all over the place, but it kind of revolves around just having Misfortune kind of sit back, relax a little bit, kick her feet up, get a mimosa if she wants, and then just waiting for the rest of the team to kind of just set up and play for those really big bullet times. And they just have a scaling top laner that can kind of just sustain out the Kench possibly, and then you have fist fighting in the jungle. You have scaling mid laners. I think Vygar is going to be a little bit of a deficit early just because of the range disadvantage. But this is very interesting. I honestly don't know who I would possibly give the advantage to here because both teams have played completely differently both these two games, so it's really hard to kind of pin down who I would possibly give an advantage to.
Yeah, I think personally, I'm gonna go with Coopa Troopa Black just because of that bot and mid side. But who knows? We're gonna go to a quick little break though, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Game number 3 right around the corner to see who's going up even further within the playoffs.
Welcome everybody. We get straight into the last and final game between Knights of the Second Dinner and Coopa Troopas Black. Once again, looking across the board, nothing too crazy, but it is going to be Spellbook Vigard here. So kind of looking just to be that big utility in the late game, you know, because Vigard can't kind of afford it just because of the what is it they call it, the way his kit works, you know, kind of just infinite scale forever. You just get tanky as hell, and then you don't really got to worry too much about anything else. But and Vladimir also went Ghost, airy, so kind of looking to just play for that dominant team fight later on here. Both junglers are looking. Oh, Olaf actually did go for a cheeky little invade here, so just pretty much took all of Emil's bot side. I don't think he's gonna catch it, so he's gonna walk over that ward near the Raptors. So he's gonna realize a little bit too late that his entire bot side got stolen and isn't able to reciprocate in kind here.
And obviously, at a level 3, you're going to be really preferring that Olaf in the early game rather to the Vi. And so if they can get that catch out, it could be really
bot
nice.
lane. That's a nice little cleanse there by Bandit, but 2 flashes used from the bot laners. The 4 summoners already used here. So Couch Potato doing a great job here, once again facilitating his bot lane to the utmost.
And as they now just keep on playing out, let's see what does end up happening, right? The momentum certainly favoring the Koopas as they've been able to take game number 2. And as we are now ending off, let's see what does inevitably end up coming on out.
Bot lane.
So,
oh no, he's gonna get stunned under the tower. You're selling! He's selling the fight! That's gonna be a kill going over. Husky Tempo taking a tower shot! And Bandit picking up a double kill in the 2v2 despite being down 2 extra summoners.
very good work to say the least to be able to develop themselves even further within the matchup. And really, it is just going to be a domination on all cylinders. So 2 kills already converted, and seems like they might even be able to do more as Vacant Tech taking some priority up towards topside. Yes, they're down in HP. However, being able to stay neutral in terms of waves, not allowing this Vladimir to completely overwhelm you, that's enough of a win in its own right. So still, you're down a little bit of CS, not the most pleasurable thing, but it is still going to be a really good performance from this Tom Kent to stay even against a ranged top laner.
I mean, that's the great thing about Kench. I mean, they did nerf his sustain a little bit before, as I mentioned during draft, but I mean, it's Kench. I mean, he's gonna be chilling for a bit. Let's see, because looking at his runes, he did take second wind. So yeah, he's kind of just gonna hold it down a little bit in the lanes. Vladimir's gonna have just a free scaling lane there, so he's not down too bad of a deficit. But that bot lane 2v2 is very surprising there. Unfortunately, you're selling just going a smidge too deep there now. I mean, Bandit, I mean, he pretty much got like the Exodia of recalls there, getting the head with the BF sword first recall. You know, that's like always a dream for ADCs every single time. As top lane, Vladimir gonna get chunked up here, gonna get the grass, proc the slows coming down. Vladimir forced to use that ghost. So that is the power of the Kench here. Pretty much nullifies that CS deficit now. Jakester is low on mana, so forced to recall now. But otherwise, I mean, it's a 1k gold lead for the side of Knights of the Second Dinner here before 5 minutes, and they're having a great time. Emil is he's a level up, so he could look for the fight, but it is an Olaf, so he's relatively strong even if he is a level down. So, gonna force that Vi to back on up there. A slight CS deficit, or slight CS lead for the Vi, just because she got a couple of those smaller raptors here. First Drake did spawn. It is a Mountain Drake. So, I mean, Knights, they're off to a really good start here.
Already putting up a good performance. The damage will get dealt as they're able to start to pepper it in from this rain of bullets. And currently, I mean, this Aphelios 2-0, having that BF sword online, really a nice start. Should be able to start to prevail relatively simply, and you kind of look towards how it is playing out. You already are close to the Bloodthirster, or not close, but you're starting to build those components. And so it does seem as if this Misfortune, now that they've had that first death, they're going to really start to opt out of a offensive push and go more towards that traditional Misfortune build. Which I do appreciate to an extent. Obviously, with the nerfs to the Bloodthirster a while back, it's a little bit less potent on a Misfortune, but it is still a nice way to kind of get into this game.
Yeah, I mean, Misfortune, a game like this against two hard tanks and a very heavy bruiser, and Vigar most likely going kind of like that tank. He's going that tankier AP build with the Rod of Ages. So Misfortune gonna really have to pivot towards that crit build here to be able to kind of punch through these tanks. Right now, I mean, the gold lead is kind of equalizing out now in the solo lanes for the Coopa Troopas, so it's not too bad here. Knights, I mean, their bot lane, I mean, they're kind of just chilling. They really don't need to force anything, even though they can, and they're kind of just letting the wave come in them and just soaking up all this XP and farm as much as they can before these team fights start wirling out here. They do claim the first Drake there, so that is going to be a very nice addition to them later on. As it's going to be, that's going to be Misfortune getting tagged up. The Glacial Fissure coming through, not quite going to get the stun off, but your selling is going to get taken out here. He doesn't have that flash. Oh, he just used it. Vacant Tech going to get hit with the Chemo Plague, but going under the tower. Flash forward by Vladimir, but he won't get the kill there. Vacant Tech is way too tanky for that, as he does have the teleport if he does need to recall, but instead he's just going to opt to stay in lane there and sustain up with the second wind and the tongue lash. But Couch Potato is circling around here. He really wants to get this dive off, as Couch Potato does reveal himself a little bit too soon there by coming in for the assist. Couch Potato does have that Ragnarok, so shouldn't fear too much of Emil's cease and desist. But overall, I mean, bot lane, they force a play, and they get two flashes out there. You're selling, gonna get stunned up, bullet time coming through, but a very nice unbreakable will. Tiny Shoes is going to back on up there. He does have that Ignite ticking down on top of him, but Couch Potato is going to be alone in the pit, forced to flash out, and that's going to be it. One grub claimed here for the side of Koopa Troopas. That's going to be cease and desist on top of Dr. Pinky. There's the Primordial Burst, not quite going to get him, but the Golden Eclipse on the bush will claim that first kill of that grub fight. And Vladimir, or Giraffe, is roaming on down here to help his team try to claim the rest of these grubbies. Emil going a little bit too close there. Dr. Pinky stacking up that Searing Brilliance.
Yeah, as we already are getting right back on in. Currently at nice deficit to start on, only 600 across, but as you know, the plates are going to be starting to get destroyed. It's going to be differentiating a lot, and it is going to be the first item for everybody going over towards the bot lane on the Knights, and on the other side for the Koopas. They do get that return of the Blackfire, and objectively, I mean, I'm looking towards really this heavy Aphelios gameplay. So Bandit, if they can start to skyrocket themselves, get these damage outputted, that could be what will turn the tide of this game, put them up in the lead as they get that first Drake. That's going to be a nice start. And I mean, obviously, game number one, very dominant in their favor. Game number two went went the distance to 30 plus minutes, but in the end, they were unable to finish it out.
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of like in the end, you know, they just couldn't really get the team fights they were looking for. A game like this, I mean, from what I've seen so far, I think Tiny Shoes is going to be doing great things with this Braum. Going to have to get that Mortal or the Merc Treads later on, just so he doesn't get chain CC, not be able to put up the shield and get blown up. You know, being the one tanking all of those abilities. But I mean, this Aphelios is in a great spot to carry this game. I mean, you have the Devour from the Tom Kench, you have the Braum to block all the damage. So Bandit, once again, you know, giving the keys to the car to try to carry this game and bring him to the finish line. You know, bringing him to that second round of the lower bracket. Did get that Storm Razor. I've been seeing Storm Razor very heavily being purchased again for all ADCs just because. Your selling going to go under the tower. Not quite going to get stunned up this time here. Does have that solar eclipse. The solar flare coming through. And he's going to get stunned up under the tower. Unbreakable will block a good chunk of that damage. Emil going to get hit with the Ragnarok there. Couch Potato might get stunned up here once again. Rooted in there. But now he pops the Ragnarok. Not going to get stunned up. Flash over the wall there. Doesn't get the kill onto Emil. Bandit going on a killing spree. Teleport down by Vacant Tech. And Husky Templar will get hit with a Primordial Burst and get blasted. And it's going to be a 2-0 there on the play that Coopa started. As they're chasing Dr. Pinky down. Oh, that that was a flash away, but he does have that ghost. So gonna get the stun with the tongue lash. He's gonna get knocked up. All the CC going down as the golden eclipse will not come down in time to claim Tiny Shoes' life. Vacant Tech picking up that kill and a very nice collapse there from Knights of the Second Dinner.
And as they push themselves up even further, you look towards what's currently going their way. I mean, Knights of the Second Dinner, they're going to get even more damage down on towards this mid lane tower. And as Tom Kent retrieves up towards top side, they're going to ground this. Oh, they eat him right on up, spit him into the tower. They'll deal a lot of damage to Vladimir, trying to escape, but it is going to be this jungle that might be an issue.
Oh, he's going to use a cease and desist. He won't be able to get over the wall, and he will get taken out. Couch Potato picking up that one. And it's going to be a bit of a... what's the word? It's a bit of a rough start there for Emil, going down 0, 2, and 1. And just, starting that Drake without any real bot priority here. So, I mean, it's still going to be a 2k gold lead for Knights. But they will lose the second Drake there as the jungler goes down into a bit more of a deficit. Olaf did finish that experimental hexplate, so he's going to have a great time in these team fights just running down the backline of Knights. So we'll see how these team fights go. It's going to be an Ocean Soul this game, as Tiny Shoes does get stunned up here. All the CC going on top of him. Couch Potato is here for the fight as Moonlight Vigil does go down. He's going to go white and he's going to fight as Bandit just completely obliterates the Olaf. He's going to pick up 2 big kills in the bot lane, and that is an Aphelios with a lot of chakrams. You don't want to go for that. And that's going to be 5-0 and 1 for Bandit, and he's having a bit of a flashback here to game 1.
It's unfortunate, but as a couple kills now converted, going to be having a 2-for-1 trade. Look towards Vacant, playing up on top side, taking a whole heck of a lot of damage. And now forced to diverge on out.
Going down as the pool goes out, and Vacant Tech will get taken out. The Hemo play gonna burst, and that's gonna be a solo kill under the tower. Vacant Tech getting way too much poke damage, getting a little too confident there as he does finish that heart steal. But a game like this, honestly, I don't think he's gonna really be able to stack that up as fast as he would like against Vladimir.
Yeah, let's just keep on looking towards what's happening. As now it is going to be a bit of a chance, I guess, to come back into this game. Yes, you're still down a little bit of gold, but nothing too, I guess, game-changing. It is just going to be the Aphelios is the real problem you're going to have to deal with currently. 140 CS as well as a 5-0 KD. Going to have a whole ton of gold coming on in. Seem like they're about to have their second item relatively soon as well. The IE coming online would be a nice increase in that firepower necessary to really burn down some of these tankier players like the Olaf.
Yeah, I mean, Jakester, he's having a rough time, being 1v2 in that bot lane, completely zoned off the towers. Teleport coming through. Vladimir going bot lane, actually, trying to help his team knock down that bot lane tier 1. But Vladimir, he's going to get caught out here, going to get hit with the Glacial Bite, going to get stunned up, all the CC going down, and he gets completely obliterated by Jakester there with the Primordial Burst. 2-0-1 currently at 145 stacks, so it's pretty nice there just before, nope, Drake's not even going to spawn. It's going to be spawning in about 2 minutes, so I don't know why Vladimir teleported bot there for that play, but Knights were there to capitalize on that.
Towards top side, able to take this turret down by the looks of it, as no real way to fight for it. And as you look towards this, Vladimir's gonna have to reappear in top side. They're gonna have that TP online, but they do elect to not use it, and that'll be the turret destroyed. So a decent bit of a gold now leading once more for the Knights as they are going to continue to try and play around the situation well. And as of now, it's just kind of a full-on evacuation over towards that Rift Herald. And yeah, it's unfortunate to say the least. But there's the Herald to come the way.
Your selling goes in there with the Zenith Blade. Not gonna have any follow-up just yet. As Couch Potato just shows up at the last second. A little bit of a gold lead for Knights of the Second Dinner here, but no real prio yet around this Drake. It is going to be a Hex Tech Soul, so it's going to be a really nice soul here for either team to claim. Lots of big shutdowns on the side of Knights, so they're going to have to play this team fight a little carefully. It is a bit of a visual bug. Vladimir just used teleport like 2 minutes ago, so he does not have that for this fight. Vacant Tech does, so he can try to push out that top wave and look to teleport in for this Drake fight here coming up here soon in about 30 seconds. But right now, I mean, both teams, they have full items built. So it's going to be a great time now as Vladimir going to get chunked up like crazy. Wow, holy cow. It's that Kench damage I was talking about, man. The base damages still go. He doesn't sustain as much, but he still hits like a truck.
Yeah, we're just going to keep on being this engagement, moving forth. And as a little bits of damage does get poked in, no full commitments just yet, as nobody wants to force into a fight and lose it all.
He's top, but I mean, Vacant Tech just gets out, so I don't really know why he's going top for a Tom Kench. But right now, bullet time coming through. That's going to be a nice little Glacier Fissure to cancel that out there. Soulflare not going to land onto Bandit. He's just going to keep on kiting. He's going to go bananas as the Moonlight Vigil just barely misses. But the Baby Cage will not. Bandit going to pick up that kill onto the Leona. Couch Potato could look to keep on going in. Does have that Ragnarok. Dr. Pinky MD is going to spot out Emil doing the Drake. But he will not be able to be there in time to stop that. As Couch Potato might have to use the Ragnarok to get on out there. Going to get hit with all of the Vigar spells. So it's going to be second Drake of the game going over to Knights, but that's going to be a cease and desist a little bit too deep there. But Husky Templar using both the summoners to have to get on out there, diving between the towers. So we're going to have to be a little bit careful. Tiny Shoes, I think he's going to die! The tower is stacking so hard there. Bandit does have the white gun looking to fight for this. The Baby Cage will not stun with the Vladimir just yet, and the Hemo Plague will pick up that one. Vladimir going to get the first kill there, as Vacant Tech is going to get CC'd up. He's going to die here eventually, as he doesn't get to dash on out there. The Solar Snare will pick that one. And Vladimir picking up 2 kills in that fight as an overstay by the Knights, trying to get that second tower. As Jakester trying to defend that mid lane tier 1, but he's going to have to leave that. He's a little bit too low for comfort, as Emil going to get spotted on the wards there. Does get hit with the undertow. So Emil going to have to dash on out and concede his blue buff to the enemy team. The gold lead now is just going to completely even out here.
Yeah, as both teams playing offensively, but the objective is really going the way of the Knights. So if they can try and leverage that, that might be able to change the pace of the current state of the game. But right now, it is just going to be a little bit of a back and forth still, though. Seems as if there is going to be a relative advantage over for that blue side, no matter, you know, the kills that are going to be confirmed. Yes, there is a relatively decent-sized lead of around 1,000 gold. However, comparatively to the Drakes that have been picked up, maybe that'll be a bit of a difficult spot.
Yeah, your selling is going to get caught out here. Solar Flare going down only onto stunning up 1, but the Unbreakable will block most of the bullet time there, as Dr. Pink MD trying to put down as much damage as he can to get a kill with the Golden Eclipse. But that's going to be your selling getting picked off once again here, having a terrible time on this Leona 1, 4, and 2, not really being able to get the picks his team wants. As the gold lead pretty much going to be dead even still. Drake not even going to spawn for like another 2.5 minutes. Baron's up on the cards now, just spawned a couple seconds ago. But really, I mean, a game like this, I don't know, these team fights are kind of messy. You know, both these teams kind of making very small mistakes, just going back and forth all the time here. So it's like, what do you think these teams need to do to kind of clean it up a little bit, to make it a little cleaner so they can kind of get a decisive victory?
One would have to imagine it's just that teamwork, right? You got to make sure that you're not too moshed together, you're not too separated. there's not easy isolation onto one
There's
of you.
no
And
way. There's no way he gets caught out again here. He's going to get stunned up once again. Does have that unbreakable will. Going to put it up now. Zenithblade getting over. Glacial Fissure used to claim that one. Cease and desist under the tower. That's going to be all the CC going on top of Husky Templar. He got a little bit too close. The Ragnarok used to deny all the CC here from Knights of the Second Dinner. And that's the bot lane of Coopa Troopas getting put down into a bigger deficit here. 1, 8, and 4 combined here. As the Vladimir is here doing a lot of damage. Tiny Shoes using the Unbreakable Will to mitigate that damage. But now it could be a bit of a neutral objective play here. But too many low health bars means they get the reset and prep for this Drake coming up in about 1 minute and 15 seconds.
breaking the information, the wards go down. The Mel in the mid lane could possibly try and make some kind of information gathered, but so far will not matter in any capacities. The backs will be confirmed, and seems as if we will be getting a bit of a setup over towards this Baron. With the group of Troopas black starting to gather around mid side, could possibly lead them to being able to secure some kind of engagement down in mid lane.
Start kind of A-ramming it up a little bit. Timer's not quite super great here, so they're going to have to stay for an additional wave if they really want to pick up that priority. As Knights, they're going to have to kind of walk into a little bit of vision here. As Tiny Shoes going to get chunked out a little bit there. As the Zenithblade does go in, Solar Snare onto Tiny Shoes. As Emil going to get hit with a Solar Flare. No Unbreakable Will for Husky Templar to worry about. That means the bullet time channel goes down. And Emil, he does just barely get his red buff. As Dr. Pink MD, he's going to get knocked up here. That might be another pick. And he's going to get taken out sooner or later. He's not going to get taken out yet. Season Disc going into the backline. Emil picks up that kill onto Dr. Pink MD. As Vladimir going into the backside. Going to pick up that kill. Flash away from the Vault Breaker. And Vegatech not going to land that Tongue Lash. Meaning he's not going to be able to sustain the rest of this fight. As Vladimir is going crazy on a rampage here. Giraffe 5-1-1 on that Vladimir. Finishing that Riftmaker. Going to get a rabbit on soon enough. And that should be Drake going over to Coopa Troopas Black, as Jakester is here. Does not have that Primordial Burst, but he is relatively healthy. Does have that red buff to sustain himself a little bit here. As Braum is coming in to help reinforce there. Zenblade just barely gonna miss, but Your Selling doesn't have any more mana. They don't want to continue this fight, really, as Husky Templar is going to get chunked. Wow, that Vigard does so much damage, as I really don't think they should be continuing this Drake here, as Vigard could try to steal this. That's a 450 AP Vigard, but the Golden Eclipse goes down, and Vladimir picks up another kill here, and his Husky Templar claims the 4th Drake of the game here for Coopa Troopas Black. It's getting a little bit dicey, but claims that Drake here. It stalls the game out a good bit longer. Lots of misplays from both sides.
Yeah, it was a good team fight in terms of, equalization, but there's an early pickoff to secure in the mid lane. And as you're able to isolate the Vigard, it gets them their first death on the game.
And Tom Kenchwood for a Dust On. I mean, it's good in theory. It's pretty good actually, because you apply 2 stacks of the acquired taste per auto, or with the sheen proc. So you get that 1 auto, you get another auto, or you land the Q to engage, land an auto, and then you get the Q up again, get the stun, and bada bing bada boom, you're good. Or you get the Devour, But I mean, a game like this, it's getting a little dicey, Like, once again, it's the same thing as last game. Knights are starting to kind of make these silly mistakes here and losing out on these team fights. Vladimir, there's no grievous wounds yet on the side of Knights of the Second Dinner, so Giraffe is kind of just balling out there as the Vault Breaker goes over the wall, and Your Selling is going to die once again here. Bolt Time going to get channeled, but it's going to get blocked up by the Unbreakable Will once again here. And so they get that pick onto Your Selling, and they could just look to start this Baron. They know Vladimir is up on that top side on that flank, and looks like the Baron is going to get started up here for Knights of the Second Dinner. Vladimir pushing up that top wave. It's going to be a 4v5 for the next 15 seconds. Can they get this Baron without losing too many souls? As Tiny Shoes going in here, getting the slow onto the Ragnarok, but that that Olaf is getting completely obliterated. The CC chain onto the Vladimir, and he just gets into the pool just in time as the Moonlight Vigil goes out, and a double kill going over to Bandit once again here. Dr. Pinky MD does still have that golden Eclipse, could look to use it. Lots of low health bars as this Baron's looking a little bit dicey. Vacant Tech is trying to zone out Dr. Pinky with Jakester as the Baron is starting to get lower and lower here. Couch Potato is not here. No smite available as the Den Blade just barely misses once again here. Solar Flare onto the Count Kench, and the Collector will claim the kill onto the Braum there despite the shield. And Emil going into the backline, double kill going over, and that's Bandit picking up another kill. Dr. Pinky MD gonna get taken down. The Golden Eclipse will not come down, and a triple kill will be claimed for Bandit. So will be the Purple Worm as Knights have 3 members up with the Baron for the next 3 minutes.
Seems as if they are going to be able to put the nail in the coffin relatively soon. You got one player alive sitting over in the bot side jungle as there's the first tower in the mid lane down. And they're not actually going to advocate for a second. Instead, backing up, maybe understanding Couch Potato is nearby.
But wow, Couch Potato, he just got completely shredded by the Aphelios. I mean, 14-2-5, 4 full items. Like, this Aphelios is so strong. You cannot be running. Aphelios is one of those champions that, like, most champions, like, you kind of just run into them and just kill them, like something like an MF or something. But with an Aphelios, like, if he has the proper gun setup, like, you're not killing the Aphelios. Like, he's 16,000 gold, 16,500 gold. He's up 5k gold on Husky Templar. Like, Bandit is just balling out once again here. He has so much safety in the Braum and the Tom Kench. And you have the Vi just constantly threatening the backline with the cease and desist. Like, it's so hard, you know, for Couch Potato to really ball out in the team fights. And your selling is, you know, living up to the namesake. He's kind of selling. Like, he's not synced up with his team here. He's just constantly getting caught out or just having a bad timer to engage. So your selling really needs to pick up the pace a little bit here, sync up with the Olaf so he doesn't get completely blasted when he goes in by himself here. Right now, gold lead is about 3k here. It's going to be about a 3k Baron power play here for Knights of the Second Dinner. They're going to claim another tower in the bot side eventually. But right now, I mean, the game is slowing down a little bit once again here as Coopa Troopas kind of just got to concede a lot of this gold here. They claim the bot lane tier 1. No more outer towers for either team now as Drake spawns in about 15 seconds. And Couch Potato he's not going to, wow, he did not get seen. But Knights have full prior on the Drake here, so they're going to start this Drake. They have the Baron buff for about 30 more seconds. So they're going to pick up Soul Point, Hextech Soul Point, which is very nice. And they're just going to have to, they're going to start backing off a little bit here as Vladimir. Going to have to be careful of getting eaten under the tower, but Vacant Tech just uses the Abyssal Dive to get on out of there. I don't really think they should try to dive this Tom Kench, but just got to clear that wave here. You're going to have to be a little bit careful. That's a tanky feller as your selling picks up all the aggro here. That I spoke a little bit too soon. That Vladimir is very fed. That's a 3-item Vladimir with a Seeker's Arm Guard. But Knights of the Second Dinner, they're going to do the Drake. They're going to immediately start pushing mid here. Meal does have that season disc. Good look for Dr. Pinky or Husky Templar. But they're going to break the base open at 29 minutes here. As teleport coming through on the flank for Vladimir. He has the Ghost. He has the Hemoplate. As the CC, can they get the CC on him before they pop the Seeker's Arm Guard? And that's the Vault Breaker gonna miss here. Gonna go straight into the pool, but he's gonna get exhausted. He's gonna get taken down. As that's a very nice Unbreakable Will there. As Bandit gonna heal up with the Moonlight Vigil with the red gun. And he's going crazy in the back line. As the flank does not quite go to plan. Husky Templar, nice little sidestep, but it will not sidestep the Vault Breaker. As that's the Olaf going to get taken down. He does not have that Ragnarok anymore. And it's going to be a 1-for-5 ace here on that dive top lane. As the rest of Knights of the Second Dinner, they're going to run it straight down mid lane with the wave. And they're going to end the game 2-1 and move forward in the lower bracket.
That will do it, sending themselves up. The Knights of the Second Dinner deliver a 2-1 victory, clinching out Game 1, securing Game 3. And despite some hurdles set, they will find that victory. But that is going to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for staying tuned through this phenomenal ride of the Ember League playoffs. My name has been Cherry J, joined by Banana Bread. We had NGL Prod hitting the buttons in that observer booth. We wouldn't be able to do it without them, and that's going to do it here for us tonight. So thank you all so much for sticking around. Thank you all so much for making this enjoyable for us. We'll talk to y'all later. You've been awesome. Peace out.